When Mordhau came out, I put a tweet out because I'd played it for a little bit and I was really enjoying it, and I said, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna milk this game dry because it was so much fun and I'm having so much fun with it. And as you can see, I've been doing that pretty well. I've kept my word, and it seems that you guys are enjoying it as well, judging by the goddamn views. Wow. But in today's video, we're going to be going over 10 things that you probably don't know about Mordhau. These are some secrets, some of them not really Easter egg type things, but some unknown mechanics and some really cool things that, yeah, maybe a few of them you know, but I can promise you there's definitely a few that you won't know at all. But just a coincidence that it made 10. It's not. But without further ado, let's stop talking, let's get straight into the video. First off, arrows can hit catapult rocks out of the air. Now, this isn't very physically realistic. Physics realistic? Of course, a catapult is a big ball of rock, and as you can know, if you've played Mordhau, they are a fucking massive ton of pissing balls to face. Because when you're just rolling around the map, catapult comes in, blows you up. If you're in a duel fighting someone, catapult comes in, blows you up. Especially on camp, where it is used to no end just to completely destroy and obliterate everybody. The AoE effect of these catapults is horrendous, but there is one way to counter it, and I do say one way. Other than dodging it, which isn't really a counter, more of an avoidance, in order to counter a catapult, you can actually hit the rocks out of midair. Arrows will do the job perfectly because, you know, you have a lot of them, they fire pretty fast, and they're really accurate. So if you see a catapult going for one of your teammates, or even going for you, pulling back your bow, letting it loose, if you hit that catapult ball right on target, it will explode in midair. Now, mind you, it does still have that AoE effect when it explodes, so the further in the air you hit it, the less likely you will be killed, because if you hit it and you explode it, but it's still exploding near your fellow troops, the AoE effect will still take place on the explosion, so it can still deal damage if you're not careful. But this can also not just be affected by arrows, this can also be affected by ballista bolts and any type of throwing weapon. Yes, as you can see, I've been throwing some axes at the catapult balls, exploding them in midair. You feel like a badass, you save your teammates, and nonetheless, you feel like Joseph Stalin once again, which is a great thing. Is it? Is he worse than Hitler? Who knows? Is he worse than Jeremus? Who knows? That's a debate for another video. Now let's move on to one that I think very few people will know, and if you do know this, you are a Mordhau expert. You can actually kill people with the Icicles on the Mountain Peak map. Now you might think, is this Battlefield 4? Can you run around and pick up an icicle and just stab someone in the fucking eye with it? Just like jam them up the bum with a piece of cold water? No, you can't do that, but they can still be killed. Now when I first heard about this, there's actually an achievement for it. And I asked people, how do you kill people with the Icicles? I tried everything. I tried hitting them off with my sword. I tried going up and picking them up, but you couldn't do that. So how are you supposed to kill them? And then someone told me, you can hit them with projectiles, with arrows, which once again is better because it's more accurate. It doesn't matter what projectile, there's no like health damage on it, but you can hit them with arrows or a throwing weapon. And my god, as you'll see, it's one hit kill if you get it the timing properly, and there's only a few places on the Mountain Peak map that you can really do this. They're the long hanging icicles, not the small ones, they can't be hit off, but they're over some really key points like archways, some walkways and things like that. There's a load of them around if you can find them. If you have enemies going underneath them, you hit that icicle, it will come down very fast. They can't be blocked, there's nothing the enemy can do, it will one hit them. Now me and my clan wanted to try this, see how many people can do this with, and we managed to get 2 people with one icicle, which was absolutely insane. Yeah, if you time it perfectly, you can hit 2 people with one icicle, although they would have to be jumping over each other. So that's a very unlikely situation. But who knows? People like jumping about the map. But yeah, if you're on the Mountain Peak and you're an archer and you see a load of guys fighting underneath these icicles, you know what to do. Drop it on their heads and it is a one-hit kill. Everyone knows that you can block arrows and projectiles in this game. This is not a hidden thing. It actually is pretty easy once you get to know the timing mechanics throughout the game. But not many people know that you can also do this with a swing. Swinging your sword at the correct time will bat an arrow out of the air or any sort of projectile. As you can see, while I was setting up a situation for it, it does take quite a lot of time to get it right. I went to do a swing and I kept missing the arrow, but eventually I hit that arrow and it pinged off to the side. It does the same as blocking, but it actually will hit it further away. I know, it's just a cool thing, and it's unlikely that you'll ever want to do it on purpose because it's just easier to block the arrow, but sometimes accidentally, if you're going in for a swing on an enemy and an archer shoots you, that swing might kill the enemy but also block that arrow at the same time, which is an important thing to know. And staying on the arrow topic, I know we've been talking a lot about arrows and projectiles. Don't worry, this is the last one on arrows and projectiles. but arrows can actually hit each other in midair. A bit like shooting a catapult ball out of midair, you can do this one arrow against another arrow. Now, I just want a disclaimer. I do not have proper footage for this. I have a lot of footage of the attempts, but after about 20 minutes of trying to do this, we gave up. But I know it is possible because I have seen people doing it, and you're just going to have to trust me on this one. And it makes sense. Arrows have unit collision in them because you can see them pinging off shields. You can see them hitting catapult rocks out in midair. So it's 100% definite that you can do this, but the likeliness of it is 1,000,000 to 1, hitting an arrow out of midair with another arrow because such are the small hitbox. But because of the unit collision, you're able to do it if you can time it exactly right. Don't know how that would ever be useful unless you're like Legolas and you see an enemy archer shooting at your teammate and you're just like, no! And you pull back your bow and you fire it and it pings theirs off. And you might as well just shoot the archer in their head. Don't risk trying to shoot that arrow out of midair. But let's have enough of those arrows. Let's talk about the loot. Now, the loot is a great weapon in the game. It does so much. It does no damage. Well, it does a bit of damage. If you bonk someone on the head with it, it's one of the various funny weapons like pans and loots and branches that you can use. But the loot is an important one. Because yes, you can hit people with the loot, but you can also become Ed Sheeran and play the loot. But not only can you do this with just strumming, you can actually go into the MIDI files and you can actually put your own sounds in there. Yes, you can play pretty much any MIDI song that you have on the loot. You'll see examples. I think someone in the recording was playing Beat It. I think you saw me put a video up. I'll put the video up of someone playing the Pirates of the Caribbean theme tune. There was someone playing the Mortal Kombat theme tune. You can pretty much play anything. It's a lot of fun. And for some reason, I've never been copyright striked on this music yet. So I guess the loot was played so bad in the MIDI of different songs that it isn't detected, which is great. And because I'm not a big enough channel, no one's going to manually detect it. Watch me now get manually detected. Great. But what about bear traps? Bear traps are the weapon of the scoundrel. Having the dodge attack, having the firebombs, the rapiers, but most importantly, the bear traps. They're pretty much one hit kill on anyone that doesn't have leg armor, and they're pretty deadly if you can put them in some certain situations. And I've seen so many people on the battlefield, which this seems like an obvious thing, but so many people don't know that bear traps can be disabled. Yes, you can hit them, you can stab them with your sword, but not only that. Right, I'm gonna have to shut fucking birds outside in the tree. But they can actually be disabled with pretty much anything that you can use in the game. Of course, things like ballistas and catapults will disable them, they'll just blow them up. But you can also do this with an arrow. You have to hit the plate in the middle, that is the point. If you hit anywhere else, it will not disable it. But you can see the pressure plate in the middle of the bear trap. Hitting that will actually disable it. You can do that with an arrow, you can do that with any sort of thrown weapon or projectile. And of course, just throwing your sword at it, or just hitting it with your sword normally, getting a stab in there. This can prove very useful for when you're on the battlefield and people are placing bear traps down, which, granted, isn't the most common thing, but there's always that one bastard that thinks a bear trap is an amazing weapon, and they end up being right, because no one expects it. Furthermore, this is something that everyone knows that's in the game, but I don't think many people actually know how to do it. There's been this meme for some time of Scalagrim was reading a manual, and this training manual was talking about ending them rightly, unscrewing the pommel at the end of your sword and throwing them at them. And we saw in the trailer that that's in Mordhau, and so I think most people know that's in the game, but I don't think most people actually know how to do it. I've had so many people asking me, how do you actually do this? Well, what you do is you have to use the longsword. The longsword is the only weapon that, as far as I know, that can do this. And as you know, pressing X can bring up all the actions you can do, such as emotes, flourishing your sword, things like that. But with the longsword, if you press X, the second button you can press is 2, and that will unscrew the pommel and throw it at the enemy. Now, it does next to no damage, so unless they're very low on health, you're not going to kill anyone with it. But it's funny. I don't know why you'd ever want to do it. It's funny, right? It's funny. Is this meme still funny? Is it? Okay. Thanks, Scalagrim. Next, we have switching off team colours. Now, this is something that you might not really want to do in the game, unless you're doing a cinematic or some sort of thing. You can take away all the HUD in the options menu, and you can also switch off team colours. If you're playing team deathmatch, skirmish, front lines, the team games basically, you'll be assigned to red and blue, and everyone will have those colours. But if you go into the menu selection, you can turn off all your HUD and switch team colours off, meaning they'll just use their colours that they use in the customization, basically looking like it's a big deathmatch. So this is only really useful for cinematics and things, or if you just really like immersion. Don't know why you'd want to do that, because you have no idea who's actually on your team, but that is something that you can do in the game. Coming down to the final two, we have the Horsefield map, and I made a whole selected video on this, so I'm sure many of you guys that watch this channel will probably know about this one. But the Horsefield map is a new secret hidden map, which is a massive field, and as you might have guessed, it's filled with trebuchet horses. That's the one. Horses can't fire a 90-kilogram projectile 300 meters. Anyway, it's great for horse charges, it's great for cavalry training, and it's great for all-right brawling. At the moment, because you can't really put proper commands in, you have to, get some weird-ass commands. The normal changing map commands don't work with Horsefield, but when you put into it, you can only actually use it in Team Deathmatch. So that's something that I might want to add now if you want to use it. You can only do it in Team Deathmatch, but it looks like this is going to be a map that will come in within the next few updates that we'll be able to use properly, which will be great because massive horse charges is a lot of fun when it comes to it. You can see the footage in the background, some massive horse charges, putting spikes up, horses going into the spikes, trying to get an archer wall going. It didn't go very well. Horses are pretty OP in this game, if you didn't know. And finally, coming to number 10, is talking about ballistas. Now, everyone knows that ballistas are goddamn annoying. Probably almost as annoying as catapults, although catapults can probably do a little bit more damage if there's a lot of clumped up guys. But on any map, someone places a ballista down, Jesus Christ, it's annoying. They can one-hit kill pretty much anything. Unless you're really lucky on a horse, they might just graze you. I think actually if you block at the right time, you're able to actually, it does less damage, but I've not actually completely tested that. That's just something that I'm speculating from stuff that's happened to me throughout the game. But ballistas, all in all, are a one-hit kill. But what I don't think you did know is quite how powerful these things are. We did a test on how many people that it can go through, and a ballista can go through about 5 people with one horse. But then we tried it with more people, and it was still fairly similar results, but it was a bit of a weird wonky map. So we're going to do more testing on this one. We're going to see just quite how many people ballista bolts can go through. But at the moment, I think it's about 5 people. So, especially on the map Tiger, if you put a ballista in the right place and they're coming across the bridge, you can get it right down the middle and you can kill multiple people at once. And it is an incredibly powerful weapon. But that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Mordhau content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you like this video because I will come down and slap you with an empty iron brew bottle. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and until then, I will see you in the next one.